I'm sitting there in shock, right? And I'm just thinking about how much I put myself out there for this motherfucker. Like, when he showed up here with a raggedy suitcase full of a bunch of nonsense. Every pair of sneakers, he had like 4 pairs of sneakers. Every pair of sneakers was leaning, I mean. He had about, like, the teeth were in terrible shape. It looked like he hadn't had a cleaning since he was born. And I'm not even saying this to play, dude. I'm telling you what it is so you can understand my pain. Because obviously this is somebody that I believe that I love and somebody that I married. So it's not in any way to, like, try to play him. This is the truth. He didn't have a coat. Winter was coming. So I spent my cash, got him a dentist appointment, pushed him to get a job. The job wasn't that he interviewed for that wanted to hire him, wasn't calling him back. Pushed him to harass them till they gave him a start date. Revamped his shoes. Like, he loves Yeezys. Started helping him to revamp his Yeezys. Try to get him, like, some decent clothing. His birthday came. Like, I hooked him up for his birthday. Like, mind you, how he sold me in this marriage was like, I have every intention to be a great husband. Like, in my previous relationship, I destroyed that relationship. Like, I know better than to make any mistakes ever again. Like, I'm gonna take care of my babies, and you included, because you're my baby too. I'm like toting him back and forth to these appointments. He didn't have a car when he got here, so he's driving my Mercedes around for whatever he needs. And I realized despite me knowing his family for so long or whatever, I have no idea who this person is. So I'm instantly like, I go into shock. I'm asking him, like, do you have Grindr? How are you meeting people here in this area? He's like, no, I don't have Grindr or whatever, because the Ferris guy whose pussy he was staring at in my house, is in Jersey. I'm like, how did you meet this person? He's like, I knew him from before. Like, I don't have Grindr. So I'm like, give me your phone. He's objecting. He's like, no. I'm like, give me the phone. I swear to God, like, you have to leave. Either give me the phone or you gotta go. And I'm telling everyone. So he's like, fine. He gives me his phone. So I'm looking through. I'm seeing all types of shit in this phone. I'm seeing paragraphs of text. I'm seeing text messages. I'm seeing all types of stuff. And I'm like, my mind can't even process it. I stopped looking and I walk off. I'm hysterical. I'm crying. Like, I'm like broken because I can't. It's not even, honestly, it ain't even about the gay part for me. It's the fact that some of this stuff was being done in my crib. Like, so his reasoning is, well, it's my past. It's my past. Like, it's things that I did before you, whatever. But it's videos of you doing this shit in my house. So, like, I'm distraught. I can't even think straight. So I think he goes to work. I'm not sure what happens, but somehow, like, I end up on the phone with his mom. And I'm telling her what I saw. And she's like, so when I first saw the text messages of Alejandro or whatever, and the other guy, she was like, I think he's like, whatever. Like, I think he's rainbow. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't even care if he was like, you know, rainbow for pay before, like as long as he does, because now I'm like, she don't know we married at this point. So I'm already like trying to rationalize it in my head, right? I'm trying to rationalize certain stuff. So I'm like, if he was that before or whatever, like, whatever. So I want to say he goes to work. He's working at this time. And I have an iPad. So he's like, babe, I don't want to lose you. Like, I fucked up. I'm sorry, whatever. Like, can we work this out? Whatever. I'm so in shock, and we're married. Like, that's the part that I couldn't get my head away from. Like, we're married. He's like, we can do therapy. Like, obviously there are some things I need to deal with. We can do therapy, whatever. So I have my iPad here, and I'm like, the only way I would even consider this, you have to log into your Apple ID from your iCloud from my iPad, and I need to be able to monitor. I need to be able to really look in here and see what, because I don't trust you. I don't know who you are. So he logs into the iPad, and I start looking once I think he goes to work or something. I see videos with full penetration. I see videos of him looking at the same dude Ferris's pussy, a different video while he's, you know. I see videos of him on top of a guy doing whatever to him, and he's like, do you want me to stop? And the guy's like, yes, sir. Or no, I'm sorry, no, sir. In the videos of full penetration, I see size 15. We're not talking about the dogs. We're not talking about transgenders. Like, he's full-blown interacting with full-blown Chicago Bears linebackers. Like, it's a big white man, a low cut, size 15 feet in the air, playing with himself, a full beard, and he's going to town in this guy's little shooter. Then he turns this big burly linebacker man over, and he's doing what he's doing from behind, and then gets down and eats the groceries and puts his face in the camera. At this point, I'm mortified, because I'm like, you are like, what is this? Like, you're full-blown rainbow. Like, mind you, I wish it was one of the dolls. I wish it was some of the dolls, but it was multiple different men, and every one of them looked like a man. Like, nobody was trans. Everyone was a full-blown man. Not to mention, there was not a condom in sight. So I'm hysterical. I need to talk to somebody. I'm upset. I need to talk to somebody. So I talked to his mom, and I'm telling her what I saw. And like, she was kind of like, when I told her about the text messages, the first text messages, she was warning me, like, I'm telling you, like, at that point, you need to open your eyes. He's full blown. Like, she's telling me, she's like, if you saw that, it goes further. And I'm like, no, I believe him. I'm making excuses for him. Goofy. And I'm telling her, like, she's like, put him out. I'm like, no, I'm worried about his sobriety, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. So when I see the full blown everything, I'm telling her, she's like, I wanted you to see that because you have to open your eyes. Like, you need to get out of this. So I'm like, I'm in denial. I'm so delusional at this point, and I'm in denial. I'm like, well, maybe we can work through this. Maybe it's something that, maybe it's remnants from his drug addiction. He got sober, blah, blah, blah. But I realized now that, like, I was just in shock, and it was a trauma response. Like, because, like, I just couldn't wrap my head around this. Also, so another thing is, obviously, he doesn't know how phones work really well. So also him giving me access to the iCloud gave me access to all his apps. So he didn't have Grindr on his phone, but something told me just download it and see if his Apple ID has his password saved. And that bitch came up. Dude was on Grindr, laying next to me in bed in the morning, soliciting men on Grindr, asking men if they shaved, telling men he couldn't wait to put his face in their pussy, all types of stuff, like a full-blown nightmare. Like I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. And I didn't have anyone to talk to, so I was talking to his mom, because at this point, I trusted her because I knew, for one, it's your son. So you're probably too embarrassed to tell anybody this about your own son anyway. And for two, I had such a close relationship with her already. Like, I felt like I could confide, and like, she's like kind of talking me through.
Hey cousins, welcome back to my channel. Make sure you like and comment. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Make sure your notification bell is on so you're notified every single time I post. Cousins, I had to come back with a part 2 same day because I didn't want you guys to wait too long, and I didn't want to wait too long to see how this story ends. But let me tell you something, this story is still going on. So the last video that I post on this video is literally from today. That's to tell you this story is still going right now. It's real time. First thing I want to say is this is not a bashing session on gay men, bi men, or anything like that. This is not a bashing session. One thing I need to say is, if you are gay, bi, whatever, just living your truth. Don't string people along and have them thinking that you love them, you want to build a family with them, because the betrayal that they'll feel when you do that is worse than anything else that you can do. The fact that she wanted to give you a chance, she tried to give you a chance, and you turned around and you played in her face this bad, is really horrible. And I understand it. I'm not even gonna lie. I understand her pain, because you felt like you loved this man, and just to find out and see the videos of him in action with other men, ooh, baby. I'm sure there's been a time or two when all of us have been cheated on, but to know that you are still trying to give somebody a chance after finding out that they love men and they're a man, and they lie to you and tell you that they really don't like men, but then you find out and you see it. Seeing it is different from hearing about it. But the fact that she had to see that is wild. Unpack your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue to listen to this story.
I'm trying to wrap this up, but I just keep remembering shit. So after all that happens, I'm asking him straight up questions. I'm asking him a bunch of questions. Are you Rainbow? Dude is telling me no. I've seen you full blown inserting yourself into another man. So, but he's saying no. And he keeps just saying, like, that was my past, that was my past. Meanwhile, there are numerous interactions of him interacting with people while he's married to me. As a matter of fact, one of the interactions, when he first got here, I didn't work for about a month and a half. The first day I went to work, he texts Ferris and asked Ferris if they could hang out. Ferris told him, oh, I don't have a car, so you're gonna have to send me an Uber. He's like, no, I'll come get you. BB don't have no car. So I at that day I took the train because I was working in Manhattan. So whose car were you gonna come get him in? Ferris told him, oh, well, I'm celibate. And BB goes, well, it's no point of us linking right then, right? That same day, I remember that his phone went dead for hours. Like there were a couple hours where I could not get in contact with him when I was trying to come home on the train. And I wasn't sure how I was going to get home because he had my car. But this guy's like in denial, denying trying to convince me what I saw is not what I saw. Like he's not rainbow and this, that, and the third. And like the more we talk about this, the more like rainbow his answers get. Like he's at this point a raging rainbow person. Like at this point, at one point I'm questioning him and he goes into like a whole like fit of like, look, I don't F like a bitch, okay? And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I don't F like and I don't get F like, so you the one doing the bending? So at this point my brain goes into full-blown like denial, I think. And every night I'm in this house in the living room, balled up in the corner on the floor for like a week and a half, listening to like sad music and getting drunk for like probably a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm literally starting to become an alcoholic to cope. And I'm someone that doesn't really drink. When I was in the military and I worked as a medic, they told us about the 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And I definitely went through all of them. So I'm in denial, but then the anger sets in and I start cussing this motherfucker out. Like I'm talking to him like dirt in here. I start pushing up on his homeboys. I send one of his homeboys a nude video of me because I just want to humiliate him at this point because I'm so embarrassed and so shocked and I don't even know what to do with myself. Now around this time, one of my homegirls invites me to go to the beach. It happens to be Natalie's birthday week, but I'm going through all of this. Like it's like one of the worst weeks of my life. But I'm glad that my friend invited me to the beach because I needed time away to like just clear my head. And the beach happened to be near Natalie's house. So Natalie's like, well, when you come this way, you can drop off my birthday gift. Now I was surprised by this because I had bought Natalie birthday gifts 2 years in a row. I bought her like AirPods and some other thing the year before. And I bought her I gave her like $300 for her birthday before that. And I had never ever received a birthday gift from Natalie in my life. So I was shocked, especially given that she knew the situation that I was currently in. So I should have told her, well, you've never given me a gift. And I'm also in a very defensive space because I'm going through what I'm going through. She ends up making a statement along the lines of, like speaking like in a third part, like someone else said that they would expect me to give her a gift because of how she's been there for me in my life or something like that. Which to me was a shocking statement to make. Because what? And for 2, because she's never given me a gift in my life. And the biggest thing is that I'm going through hell right now. So this is kind of like a selfish request when I'm going through hell right now. So I ended up texting her. I'm like, look, whatever you feel like I owe you for, just send me an itemized bill and I'll pay it. And I'm like, well, you've never given me a gift in my life. I'm like, you buy your biological kids gift, you've never bought me one, so how can you expect a gift from me when you've never given me that? She goes, well, I didn't raise you and you never lived with me, which is fair. It's both true. But then how can you expect a gift from me, especially when I'm going through one of the worst weeks of my life? So that whole thing just turned me off. Like it was just weird, and me and her didn't talk after that. So I'm in the house going through it with her son. Now, mind you, on top of that, this dude has other issues. Like he still is having his little mood swings. And then his hygiene is in hell. And I'm like experiencing some shit I ain't never experienced before. I'm doing laundry and it literally looks like dude is wiping his ass with his drawers. I'm not talking about like skid marks. I'm talking about like, it looks like you used your underwear as a tissue. Piss and poop on the toilet. You don't clean nothing in here, so I'm doing all of the cleaning. Your feet literally stink every single day. And I learned it was because this dude was literally going for a run every day, taking a shower, and then putting the same socks that he ran 5 miles in back on. So let's count what's wrong with you. You're secretly trying to sleep with men. You have poor hygiene. You have no money, and you have a bad attitude. So like I said, I was going through it at this time. But I'm like, you know what? Because I'm a goofy, as I keep saying. He asked me to go to therapy. I'm like, let's go to therapy. So we go to therapy. The therapist is honestly amazed by this dude. She's like, so this therapy is in September. In September, like beginning of September. I caught him in August. He's telling the therapist, oh, it was the past. The therapist's like, you're married. It was while you were married to her, and it was last month. That's not the past. That's literally this morning. He's saying in therapy, he's not rainbow. He's not rainbow. So I ask him, I'm like, let me ask you something. If someone else did all of the same things you did, would you consider them to be rainbow? And he goes, yeah. So then I go, if what you did isn't rainbow, what are the requirements to be rainbow? So he couldn't answer that. And I'm like, you want to know why you can't answer? Because if you answer, you'll realize you already met them. But time heals everything. And eventually things start to feel normal, although they're not. Because, like, again, I really think what ended up happening is that I started disassociating. Like, my brain just started shutting down. Like, my brain decided, like, this is not my life. So let me just remove myself from here. And I started running on autopilot.
Cousins, the worst part about all of this is that BB is in denial. And he's actually using her car and things that she owns to trick and flex on his men. Like, what? I know you lying. Another thing, Mom, why is she bringing up a gift for her birthday? Like, yeah, okay, it's your birthday. Everybody wants gifts on their birthday, but don't bring up the things that you've done for her to throw it in her face. Did you do it because you wanted to be a good person, because you knew the situation, or did you do it because you wanted something back? People who do things so that they can receive something in return are not good people. And now, Natalie, you're on the bad list because WTF. I don't think she understands how hard it probably was for this girl, Jennifer, to deal with all of this with her son at the time. And then for her to kind of turn her back on her at that time is like, girl, what is your problem? Like, why are you doing this at this time? Bad timing, Natalie. Bad timing. Cousins, unpack your thoughts in the comments. Would you go to therapy with your husband if you found out that he was gay or bi? Would you try to work it out? Would you want to break up? What would you do in this situation if you were in this situation? I know she was hurt when she found out that he was bi, but I do not agree with her sending pictures to his friends of her naked body. And I get it. Sometimes you do things out of desperation, but that's just something that she should have never done. She should have never stooped as low as he did. She should have just took herself out of the situation. But when you are in the situation, sometimes you're not even thinking. And I get she wanted to get him back, but baby girl, that was not the right way at all.
At this point, like, every time I think of a question to ask him, I ask him. So I'm like asking him questions every 5 seconds. Like, I'm asking him, like, how many men you been with? Dude is telling me he doesn't even know how many men he been with. I'm asking him because at this point, he's the one recording all of these interactions. So obviously you're really enjoying it because you want to remember it. That's why there are numerous recordings. And one of the recordings, as a matter of fact, he was naked walking around and a hand reaches in, grabs his meat, and he's getting ready to turn the camera, and the person says they don't want to be on camera. And he goes, I'm not going to put you on camera, but it's clearly a man. Another thing is, I ain't find one woman in that phone. Not one. I scoured. I was hoping to find a woman in that phone. So I'm like, again, like, I disassociated. I'm disoriented because I know what it is, but I'm still in denial, right? So at this point, I'm like, fuck it. Like, all I wanted was my baby anyway. Like, I'm married. Like, I'm not going to go through the process going through a divorce. And I know this man's family, even though he's not shit. Like, I know his family. I'm going to take my baby and go. So I'm like, look, we're just going to move forward with the baby plan. Y'all, just bear with me. Goofy, right? But there's one catch. Up until this point, he has not been able to have an explosion from us having relationships. Okay? When I asked him, because I kept questioning, like, what is this about? He would say, oh, because I had an addiction for so long, it's hard for me to stay focused enough to finish. So that was before I caught him. That was what he was telling me. So after I catch him, I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's turned on by the idea of, like, or he felt like he needed to perform. But all of a sudden, after I catch him, he's able to do this. He's able to have a full explosion while doing this with me. So we try for 2 months and I end up pregnant. But my mind is like mush at this point. Like, I've mind fucked myself so much. Like, I'm in here actually trying to convince myself this is a normal marriage. I'm cooking every day, doing laundry, cleaning, handling all his business affairs. Like, this is a real thing. Now, what I will say is when he was working, he was giving me majority of his paychecks, but he was spending as much as he was giving me. So like, even though he would give me, let's say he'd give me $1,000 in a paycheck, but then he'd buy a coat that cost $2,000 and have to pay me back the rest. It would be like that. So now I found out I'm pregnant, and like, I'm thinking I had disassociated or whatever. So I'm thinking like everything's fine, but everything's not fine. So when I get pregnant, about 3 weeks into it, all of a sudden my mind starts working differently, right? As a matter of fact, we're gonna go back. So before I found out I was pregnant, me and Natalie hadn't spoken. So one day, like, he had a court case in Virginia, right? So I had taken him to Virginia for the court case, and they ended up keeping him for 10 days. He was in jail for 10 days for this court case. So I ended up coming back to get him or whatever. He had to go back to work and just try to jump into life. Now, while he was in jail, I put money on his books, on his commissary. I made sure he had everything that he needed. I put money on individual people's numbers, like my number, his mom's number, so he could call people or whatever, and so on and so forth. But when he got out of jail, I guess things were hectic or whatever, and he didn't call his mom. I don't know what the reason is. I don't know why he wasn't calling her specifically, but he wasn't calling her. So we're laying in bed one morning and he was like, yo, my mom just texted me, and he shows me the text. And the text is like, I'm going to wrap it up because I don't remember verbatim what it said, but it said something along the lines of, I remember one part distinctly, but it was like, pretty much like, I can't believe that you're allowing Jennifer to make you not talk to me, because at this point, me and her weren't talking. I can't believe you're allowing Jennifer to make you not talk to me. She doesn't know what it's like to have a mother because she's never had one, and so on, and she goes on from there. Now, at this point, I'm in shock because even though like me and her hasn't spoken, it's certain things that are a low blow. You know what I mean? Now, keep in mind, I don't realize it, but at the time, I had already entered in full-blown depression from being in this situation. So I read that. He shows it to me. I read it. And I get on my phone and I just cuss her out. I say everything negative that I could think of about her. I drag her by her pinky toe because like, I just can't believe unprovoked that you would say something like that. You know what I mean? So anyways, fast forward, like I said, we're pregnant. Now my brain starts working differently. Now I'm overanalyzing every single thing that's happening in here. I don't know. I guess it's like pregnancy brain, but like I'm panicking. I'm concerned. Every day I'm thinking about like, what am I doing? Like this man is not equipped to be a father. Like what did I get myself into? And then a couple of things happened that was the final straw. First off, one morning I wake up and I get a phone call from my tenant at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I answer the phone. I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, do you know that your car door is open? I'm like, open? What do you mean open? She's like, not unlocked. Your car door is just opened. So I'm like, my car door is open. Dude left my car door open all night long where it rained in my car. So again, my like pregnancy brain, I'm like, bro, this is the type of nigga that will leave your baby on top of the car and pull off. This is the type of nigga that will leave your baby in the backseat all day. Like, I'm shook. I'm concerned. Mind you, he was the main one pushing for family and baby. I want my child. I want my child. He already picked out names and stuff, so he kept pushing for a baby. So now we're pregnant, and I'm having really, really bad gas, right? I'm having really, really bad gas one night, and I'm Googling, and Google's telling me all these different positions that you could do, like for gas. One of them is like you could have someone push your knees to your chest. So I asked him to help me push my knees to my chest. I'm pregnant with his child, mind you. He goes, ugh, like, all right, with an attitude. And I'm like, what? And then he's like, look, I have to go to sleep soon. Now, mind you, a nigga with a fucked up attitude who can't hardly pay a bill, who you caught being DL, who you are now pregnant by for the kid that he asked you for, is now who has bad hygiene is now getting an attitude because you're asking him for help to deal with the pain that you're experiencing from carrying his child. That was the breaking point for me. That night, I asked him if he could sleep on the couch. I never slept in the bed with him ever again, and I asked him to leave. I reached out to his mom, asked his mom if he could come home. She said yes, and he agreed to leave. But for whatever reason, this dude kept stalling leaving. Like, he said his mom was coming to get him that night at 8 p.m. For whatever reason, she never came. He claimed that she fell asleep or something, and that's why she couldn't come, but she was going to send him a lift. Then in the morning, he claims, oh, you know, she couldn't send him a lift. She was going to come get him at 5 p.m. So I start losing it because now I feel like you're playing, and we have this huge argument. I'm saying fucked up shit to him. He's saying fucked up shit to me. We going back and forth. I'm telling him straight up, like, honestly, I don't even really want you around my kid. Like, you weird. I'm like, bro, and I would never, I don't even want my kid having your last name. Like, he's saying fucked up shit to me. He's saying I'm going to beat every nigga ass that you bring around my kid, all types of shit. Then he proceeds to take his shirt off, and he's walking through my house with his shirt off like a tough guy, talking about, you can call any nigga here that you need to call, blah, 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 whatever. A couple of things happened in between time, but that's the only reason I'm not going to go into detail is because it's still an open court case right now. I'm not going to go past that. So dude literally has a suspended 1-year jail sentence on his head right now. He also has a prior domestic violence case on his record. So rather than call the police on him, I choose to call my family for help because I'm like, this dude is in here wilding. I don't know what he about to do. He's doing the most. So I call my family for help. This whole time, I'm asking him to just leave. Just leave. Just leave. He's refusing to leave. I'm like, bro, you've done enough. Just leave. He's refusing to leave. When I call my family and ask my family for help, after he did all of that shit, all that, whatever, call whatever nigga you want, taking off his shirt, looking at me aggressively, walking back and forth here, he then gets on the phone with his grandmother and goes, she called her uncle to hurt me. Changes his tone of voice and everything. And I'm like, bro, this dude is a fucking nutcase. Needless to say, an altercation happens. He calls the police on me. And I get arrested. Pregnant with his child. When the police get here, like I said, knowing he had all the shit he had going on with him, I stand tall. I don't say anything incriminating about him because I know if I do, they're going to take him for a minimum of a year. But this nigga is out there just saying all types of shit to police. And I ended up arrested. Going to be the final part for a while because the saga is still continuing. So he's over there saying what he's saying. I get arrested. You could tell, like, the police don't want to take me, but they have no choice. Like, at this point, based on what he said on the line, which was whatever. He said a lot of things. So they take me to the station. I ended up handcuffed to a bench for about 7 hours at the police station, pregnant. So I call my sister, I call my uncle, and I call his uncle. Because at this point, like, I already know, dude, you're not going to tell the story. Like, you're not going to tell what you did. So at least, I don't know how long I'm going to be in jail for. I'm pregnant with your kid, but I'm going to tell everything that you did. Like, so I call his uncle. I tell his uncle everything. Like, bro, I call him cheating with men. Like, I just wanted him to leave, whatever. And his uncle's like, well, he's not coming to our house. There needs to be repercussions for him getting you arrested. Like, everywhere he goes, there's a problem, blah, 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 blah. He's saying that you send in, that he's afraid that you're going to send people after him. And I'm like, send people after him. Send people after him for what? I just wanted him to leave my house. Dude was refusing to leave my house. That was the whole issue with the situation, was that he would not leave. So anyways, yeah, so I tell his uncle whatever, and I'm telling his uncle about, because I have everything, by the way, everything that I'm saying I have footage of, but I'm not going to show it on here because, like I said, I wouldn't show it on here because it's obviously pornography, but the shit is still on my iPad and it's an open court case. Or still on my phone, not my iPad, it's on my phone, and it's an open court case. But anyway, so I'm telling his uncle, like, I have footage or whatever, and he's like, bro, send me that. Like, that's crazy. So I get off the phone with him or whatever, and after I'm locked for 7 hours I'm locked, chained to a bench for 7 hours pregnant. They then transport me to the county jail, or my county jail. They take all my clothes and shit, put me in a little, like, what seems like a scrubs outfit. And I'm locked in a cell for 4 hours, freezing cold. Then they put me in a van, transport me to another county jail where I stay for the next, I don't even know how many hours. I don't get out. So the incident, I got arrested at 9 a.m. on Thursday. I didn't get out till like 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. on Friday. So it's still an open court case. So now I'm thinking, like, whatever, I get out, I get home. My sister was at my house taking care of my dog. She tells me the police came by with some papers for me. I'm like, what? So I'm like, papers. I'm thinking it's some papers that I left at the jail because they give you like your discharge papers or whatever. But I'm like, that's weird that they would come. So his uncle had asked me to see the footage. So I let him see the footage. So like next guy I know, his mom sends me a copy of a restraining order and was like, he's mad that you showed his uncle the footage or whatever. And like whatever. By this time I had not been served with any restraining order, so I didn't know nothing about no restraining order. But so I'm like, this dude got me arrested while I'm pregnant with his kid. All because he refused to leave my home after getting caught being DL. He has a fucked up attitude, poor hygiene. He just all around is not a good person. And then he came back from New York to Jersey to double down by filing a restraining order. Mind you, in the restraining order, it's all types of lies. In the restraining order, he says that I called my uncle and said, oh, Malik's wild and handle him. Bro, this is not New Jack City. First of all, my uncle don't work for me. Like, he's not my soldier. Handle him is something crazy. Like, for one thing, I'm 37, not 57. Handle him, Malik's wild and handle him is not something someone in my, who says some shit like that? What the fuck are you talking about? Then it said that I threatened him with physical violence. That's all types of nonsense in this restraining order. So like at this point, I feel like dude is like a raging rainbow person. Like he is just angry that he's rainbow and he is liable to bring harm to myself, my child, and the people around me. So I went to the police station and I filed my own restraining order because like you're unhinged, bro. And it's clear you don't give a fuck about me. You don't give a fuck about my kid. So yeah, for right now, the saga's on pause. I'm still pregnant. I'm still taking care of myself, awaiting the arrival of my child. We are still legally married. I am waiting on that because, sir, I don't know if you noticed, but your ass going on child support because there's no way, like, you're not. And I don't want any questions about paternity if I get a divorce right now, so I'm not getting a divorce right now. And that's just that on that. But yeah. Y'all be safe out here, y'all. It's real spooky.
Cousins, after finding out all of this about your husband, would you still go ahead and have your baby if you were in this situation? You feel like you're getting older and you just really want a baby. You know his family. You feel like, would you just stay with him and let him do him? You do you, but to the public, you guys are a married couple. What would you do in this situation? Please unpack your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear from you guys. If you've ever been in this situation, please put your experience in the comments. I really want to hear other people's experiences because this is happening so much and it's crazy that she ended up in jail after all she did for this man. Like, this is crazy. And I honestly thought this was fake or like a made up story up until the following video. After this section, you're gonna see that this is all real. It's unfortunately all real. BB just needs to live out his truth that he prefers men than women. And it seems like because of how he grew up, and in her live today, she was saying that his father was very homophobic, so that could be a reason why he didn't want to come out. But baby, living your truth. There's no reason to fake like you like women when you really don't. Like, what is the point? You can't even have an explosion with a woman, but you can with a man. You like what you like, BB. You like what you like. The fact that he'd had Badusi juice all over his drawers and he was having bad hygiene, that took me out. That took me to the upper room. I'm sorry. And then Natalie, how dare you talk about how she ain't have no mama when that's not her fault. Like, why would you even do that low blow? Natalie, you raised him and I could see why he is the way he is. Now I get it. I get it. Because you was acting like a good person, but you're really not. You a snake. Natalie is a snake. Oh my goodness. This man is so conniving. The things he's trying to do to cover up the fact that he is rainbow is so crazy. Like, just living your truth. Why did you have to put her in jail? And she should have opened her mouth and said something once the cops got there. But I get it. She didn't want him to be in jail for a year. But dang, girl. You could have saved yourself by just opening your mouth. At least show them the footage or something. But I'm pretty sure she's going to win in court because she says she does have footage of it. But this is too much. Ooh, cousins, unpack your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like. Make sure you comment. And please subscribe if you haven't done so already.
It's minding my damn business in my world. And I get this text from Natalie at about 4. Now, the last time I spoke to Natalie, her son tried to contact me during the course of him having a restraining order, me having a restraining order against him, and I told her not to tell him not to contact me, otherwise I would put him in jail for a year. So I'm minding my business, posting my TikToks, and I get this text from her. The first text: "Hey, I see your TikToks, and I may not agree with you airing BB out like that, but this is your truth, and you told not one lie so far up to part 7. I'm sorry that you guys didn't listen to me, but I pray for both of you dearly. May God protect that child from all of this. I can't believe this is going on between two people that I love so deeply. I still pray for peace." I hearted it, but honestly, I wasn't really interested in an interaction, so I didn't even respond to that. So what changed, you may ask? Well, in 8, 9, and 10, what changed is that I exposed what she did. And so now I got a different text. I'll read that one. "I pray you found what you were looking for through social media. It's sad. Unfortunately, this baby will not be able to enjoy this side of the family. This is beyond messy. I will continue to pray for us all." My response was, "Can you stop texting me about this? I don't care about that side of the family. I'm cool with never talking to y'all again. Your son is a monster and you're not great either." Now, I don't know what level, now I was delusional, but I don't know what level of delusion that side of the family is, but don't threaten me with a great time. I don't give a fuck if I never talk to none of y'all ever the fuck again. And my recommendation is going to be, if you don't like being exposed for being fucked up to people, then don't be fucked up to them. Because I didn't tell not one lie through 1 through 7, and I didn't tell not one lie through 8 through 10. Every single thing I said happened. You were just mad once you got thrown into it because you were shady and grimy. That's unfortunate. Be better. People are so fucking fake, bro. Like, so fake. A lot of comments. I have a lot of DMs, and I just wanted to answer a few unanswered questions. The first is whether or not he was tested or I was tested. I absolutely made him get tested as soon as I saw what he was doing, and as soon as I decided I wanted to just move forward and have the baby. I myself have also been tested multiple times, especially being pregnant, and we both were negative, fortunately. Also, there's another question of, you slept with him after that? Trust me, it was no easy task. Okay? Literally, every time this man would reach for me, I would tense up or cringe. We would only sleep together during ovulation, and it was, like I said, a task. Someone asked about Ferris. So I ended up speaking to Ferris on the phone, like, shortly after I spoke to James, and I spoke to, and I went through the iPad to see everything that I saw. I actually called Ferris, from the iPad, and I had a conversation with him. Ferris was very down to earth. He was like, wait a minute, like, that was your dog and your house that he was showing me, talking about I got a new house and a new dog. Also, Ferris sounded young. Like, we're in our 30s. I'm 37. Ferris clearly was 20. So I was like, how old are you? And Ferris said he was, I think, 22 or 21. And he was like, but I've been talking to BB since I was in high school. When I confronted BB about that, he was like, he's lying, blah, 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 but you can't trust anything this motherfucker says, so who knows? And then BB goes to me, like, you're over here talking to him as if he wouldn't be with me if he had the chance. And I thought that was the most rainbow shit I had ever heard. I'm like, are you trying to make me insecure about other men? Ferris also said that he kept asking BB, like, are you rainbow? Are you rainbow? And BB kept telling him, I'm not rainbow. I'm just attracted to femininity. And Ferris was like, said he was like, yeah, but like, I'm a man. Child, I don't know. Someone bought up OnlyFans and I forgot. So one of the apps I discovered when I was going through his phone in front of him after he was up and everything was OnlyFans. And I was like, you have OnlyFans? And I tried to go into it. It was the only thing that I asked about. It was the final thing I asked about before he took his phone. And the only thing I asked about, that he snatched his phone and walked off and then came back and was like, fine, you can go through my OnlyFans. Lord knows what he deleted by then. Lord knows what was on that OnlyFans. I imagine it was probably a wild situation. All in all, for any of those who are saying like, the signs were there, the red flags were there, this, that, and the third, The disclaimer I gave at the very, very beginning of me telling this story, I'm aware. Like I said, I gave a disclaimer very early on saying that I'm aware that there are a bunch of moments that I was clearly being a goofy, and throughout me telling the story, I pointed out where I was being a goofy. So you guys aren't holding me accountable for anything, because that was the purpose of me saying that. I'm aware, like I'm out of the dream, I'm out of the haze, and I'm ready to take accountability and accept my part in not being more aware and smarter in this situation. And at this point, I just want to move forward for myself and my child and make better decisions. And yeah, like, I'm not a perfect person. I never claimed to be a perfect person. And I tried my best. And that's all I can tell you. Also, I don't think that people understand the timeline. Like, I don't know if people understand that this all happened within a 5-month period. And this just happened. Like, I was just in jail last Thursday. I married him in July, caught him full blown at the end of August, went to therapy with him all of September, once a week, was delusional October and November, and the beginning of December snapped the fuck out of it. So I had about 3 solid months, 2.5 to 3 solid months of being full blown delusional. And I take full accountability for that. You know, I'm not making any excuses. But anyways, like I said, all I can do from here is take accountability and be better. Another thing I kept seeing is like, oh, desperation to be married. I've been engaged 3 times. My most recent fiance, after hearing about this, is actually in my text messages right now telling me if there's anything I need to reach out to him, whatever. I will say this was not a matter of desperation. I don't believe this was a matter of stupidity. And this was a matter of being delusional due to familiarity. I literally believe because I had such a close relationship with this boy's mom that like I was just overlooking shit. No, I've called your mom my mom for 20 plus years. There's no way like you could be evil. Like, it was stupid and goofy. But I can assure you I'm not hard pressed for eggplant, I guess. I've actually picked up some new hoes since. I am waiting to date anybody, like, but you know, I have my little friends that bring me food and like check up on me through the day, but I am gonna wait until I am healed before I start dating or taking anyone seriously or doing any of that. But you know, peen ain't hard to come by, y'all. I promise you it ain't. Like, I could reach my hand out the window and catch who said that? Drew Alfalo. I don't remember her name, but I could reach my hand out the window and catch a penis by accident. Like, it's not hard to come by. So yeah, anyways, y'all, have a great day. Thank you for listening to my story. It's Justin, y'all. So I received a very interesting series of DMs today. Do y'all remember James from the story? James was the gentleman initially that called and finally exposed to me that him and BB were sleeping together, and he's the first one to like just come out and say it. So I received an interesting DM and I'm going to read it to you. Girl, I watched your entire story and halfway through I realized I know the James BB was talking to, and I remember hearing about BB being crazy to him for a really long time. I'm so sorry you went through this. That man is evil. So at first I couldn't believe it. I just thought it was somebody like on social media trying to be funny. So I sent those eyes and I said, describe him, because I know exactly what he looks like. The reason I know what he looks like is BB had recorded a domestic dispute that they were having, and it came to the iPad. So like in the dispute, like James was calling the police on him, and then BB was like trying to get into like BB was being aggressive with him. It was like, so you gonna call the police on me just because I'm a black man? Da 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 da. But James was on one of the videos, so I knew exactly what James looks like. The person says, James, he's white with curly hair. I say, how about his build? The person says, I remember he told us BB's wife called him and I was shocked he had a wife. He's like skinny, not fat, medium size. I say, yes, that's him. I saw videos in BB's phone where he recorded James calling the police on him for threatening him and whatever else. He's a monster. James was really nice when I spoke to him, and I was grateful because he was the first one to tell me the truth. The person says, yeah, BB was always crazy. The wife part was truly the cherry on top. I am so fucking sorry. My heart goes out to you and your child. James is a good person. He would have never done anything with him if he knew he had a wife. He terrorized you both. A lot of my friends are gay, and the amount of DL men are like this is and the person says heartbreaking. I hope you know you are not alone or crazy. It happens, and I'm really proud of you for posting it and spreading awareness. I said he wasn't married to me yet when he was dealing with James, but he was pursuing me. We rushed into marriage and I was stupid, but I've known BB since we were kids. I know his whole family, so I trusted him, but he's had a screw loose since we were kids, so I should have known better. The person says, you're human, girl. Give yourself some grace. You had a crazy upbringing too, and that stuff manifests into our childhood. Don't be so hard on yourself. Seriously, I watched the entire thing and I felt no judgment towards you. I hope you can find a good therapist that can help you work through this. I hope you know I'll be praying for you and your baby. I said, thank you so much. The person said, of course. So we found James, y'all. I could have got in contact with James on my own because, like I said, I've reached out to James before. Ferris, all of them. But it's interesting to hear someone else's perspective that's from the outside looking in and from someone else's side in the situation. But yeah, I guess this situation going to keep on keeping on. Let's see who else I hear from. Well, I've honestly heard from a lot of people, some which I won't tell. But this one I thought was very interesting. So let's see where this goes from here. So y'all, this is legitimately the James. This is James that I called from BB's phone. Legitimately, this is James. Hey James, we might need to go live or something, boo. But you lost weight. Not you losing weight since the video that I seen of you in that man's phone. Body's looking a little T. But yeah, we might need to go live because some shit done went down and motherfuckers is I don't know if people believe that this actually happened to me.
Cousins, unpack your thoughts in the comments. Would you allow your child to be around BB's family after all of this went down, especially around a grandmother like Natalie? I say absolutely not. And it's unfortunate that the child would literally not be around their father's side of the family or around their father, but that man is not safe. He's not safe for any child, and he needs to just live in his truth. If you want to be rainbow, but don't lie about it, don't hide it, and don't be conniving trying to make it seem like you don't know where she's coming up with all these things and you're putting restraining orders on her just because she sent the video to your uncle. The video is proof that it really happened because you're a liar. Nobody can believe anything you say, and you keep making her look like the bad person. Unpack your thoughts in the comments, please. And the fact that James came out, oh my gosh. TikTok is diabolical. It's so crazy. Woo-wee. Unpack your thoughts in the comments. Any more updates for the story, I'm definitely going to post it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.
Which I wasn't expecting because James, I believe, lives in Miami. And I didn't think these videos, honestly, would reach that far. It was just me telling I didn't think it would reach that far. So me and him got to chatting in the messages because the only thing I knew about James was what he told me when he called and the video that I saw of him calling the police on BB. So I was pretty much asking him what happened, why he ended up calling the police, what went wrong, what his experience was. And he messaged me explaining. So here we go. I had already asked him the questions I wanted to know in the comments. So I DM'd him, we followed each other and then I DM'd him. I followed him, he followed me back, and then I messaged him and I said, James, I have questions. He said, hi, boo. OMG, I was not expecting this. Firstly, I want to say I'm sorry to hear what you're went through with BB. I can only imagine what it was like living with him. The man was actually so horrible to me. Secondly, I want to wish you a congratulations and healthy pregnancy and ask you to please take care of yourself right now. When you called that night, I so badly wanted to tell you to run. I just didn't know how to contact you and what state of mind you were in and if you were safe. I had called the cops on him because he was threatening to beat me up after I told him to leave my house because he was throwing a temper tantrum, which I'm sure you witnessed. He was literally verbally abusive and I tolerated it for so long. Threatening with physical violence was my final straw and he literally was refusing to leave. Mind you, my roommates were all home and had to witness the whole thing. I'm only 19 at the time, I think. and I just was not expecting a grown-ass man to get so crazy with me. Then he tried to gaslight the whole situation. Like, bitch, I know what you said and what I said. I'm young and dumb and make mistakes, but as a grown man, he should have never treated me the way he did. Literally every little thing I did, he would scream at me, and it almost every time led to the threat of hitting me after that. Sorry, not trying to rant. Just so many things I wanted to say to you. You're literally a survivor, and I'm so glad you're fucking out. Then he said, sorry, that's so long. Hey. I said, oh, okay, let me read. No, I'm so glad you're saying something. I knew you had a horror story because I experienced him. I know he's a terrible person. You don't even have to tell me. So you were 19, 20, and how old was he acting like this? How old was he acting like this? James says, yes, he met me when I was 19. We were on and off the whole time hanging out. He told me he was younger at first, but then admitted he was 33 or something like that. I responded, so he was in my house and things were okay at first, and then all of a sudden he just started throwing hissy fits for every little thing. At one point, I was walking on eggshells and my nerves were starting to be shot. Then I went through his phone the night I spoke to you, and I realized this dude is fighting some serious demons. Till this day, he's saying he's not Rainbow. 33 is crazy, though, because he was 33 when me and him got together. So this just happened to you. I'm so sorry. He's sick. Did the police ever show up? So, again, like I said, my whole entire situation from me talking to this guy to us getting married, to me finding all of this out, confirming all of this, to me getting pregnant and to me getting arrested is all a 5-month span. All of that happened within 5 months. So also within that 5 months, he turned 34, just to give a little context. So James responds, like, I actually can only imagine. Literally, he's nuts. I still cannot wrap my head around how you managed to live with him. That must have been so difficult. I also had no clue he wasn't out. He always told me he was bi. And yes, this literally just happened months ago. I don't remember when exactly the police thing happened. I know when it happened because I have the date. I have the date stored. But the police showed up like an hour later. He was gone. And then I just told them what happened. They handed me a DV pamphlet and left. And somehow I ended up feeling bad for calling because of how he manipulates things. But now that I'm out of the situation, obviously I know I made the right move. The man is so unpredictable. And for this man to say he was doing it for money is obviously insane. Never got a dime from me, but was begging to sleep over and hang out like every day. I responded with, I saw the messages and he was like professing his feelings to you. And I was like, what? That's why I'm so glad you called back from a different number. But I'm not going to lie. After that night, I went into shock and depression, and it took me months to get out of it because I couldn't believe how stupid I had been. Not the begging to hang out every day, though. So now I understand. He went to Miami so he could finally be out. James responded, I'm so sorry to hear that, but I'm hoping you feel better. You are not stupid. You are totally valid for everything you feel and went through. I understand what it's like. It has nothing to do with desperation or feeling like he was the only one we could get. Like you said, we can put our hand out the window and catch one. He always tried to make me feel like I was less than or not good enough. He does that because he wants us to feel attached. You are absolutely stunning and are clearly very level-headed. I can tell even from that brief phone call we had. I was shocked at how kind and normal you were. Honestly, it made me feel better. I was like, thank God I'm not crazy. But yeah, I used to feel sorry for him, but there's just no excuse for this behavior. And to me, that was one of the most telling things that James said, because I realized, like, when you trauma bond with someone, you feel so sorry for them to the point of your own detriment sometimes. Like, you almost want to, like, you put your cape on when you shouldn't. A goofy. Well, that's what I felt like anyway. But James has been very comforting because talking to him did make me feel better. I responded with, I usually would never entertain a person like him, but me knowing his whole family is what made me put my guard down, and he just immediately started pushing marriage, which now I realize was only because he knew he wouldn't be able to keep up the act for very long. I'm not an irrational person, but he reels you in, and before you know it, you start to lose yourself. But for you, I understand your side because you literally knew nothing. So he probably was on his best behavior, and then before you knew it, you were sleeping with the enemy. James responded, girl, exactly, girl, you get it, and I get you. That's an evil man. He needs to be posted somewhere to stay away. I said, well, I'm glad you got out of it. I'm just going to try my best to maneuver. We're going to court right now for the exact same thing you went through with him. I asked him to leave my house, and he started losing it and then got aggressive with me and then called the police. I'm going to court next week to try to finalize a restraining order against him. I have a temporary one now. James said, okay, good. I'm glad to hear that you're taking action. Such a fucking headache. But hopefully it'll be over soon. I'm wishing you the best. Kick his ass in court, boo, and I'm here if you need anything. And then afterward, I asked him if I could share this. So yeah, y'all, at this point, I'm glad I spoke to James. I'm glad I have his testimony. And I just, at this point, Ferris is in Jersey. Ferris gave me his Instagram and gave me his phone number when we talked. But I was so in a haze at that point in time. I didn't even write anything down or keep anything, and I don't remember it. But Ferris lives in Jersey, and he would also be very helpful. Please, if y'all could like, share, comment, help me find Ferris in Jersey. I have a couple clues. This is Ferris's face, y'all. I hope Ferris is not mad at me for using this. I didn't have anything else, and this was the only image of Ferris's face. I believe this is Ferris. This is the only image of Ferris's face that I could find. Ferris, please don't kill me. I was just trying to find you. And then this is his Avi for when he FaceTimes. I believe this is the background of his home. I took from the video when BB was like to him. So if y'all could help me track down Ferris, because he would be very, very helpful as well, especially with this whole court thing. All right, y'all. Keep y'all updated if anything else happens, y'all. Y'all, it's up. So on today's episode of What the Fuck Is My Life, there's been a new development. Last night, I'm in the house and I received this text message from someone from my past. Hey, I know we didn't leave off on good terms, and I was just checking to see how you're doing. I'd just been thinking about having a family lately, and you came to mind. And if you got something going on, I mean no disrespect. I just had to let you know how I felt. Happy New Year's, beautiful. You're a queen. I don't know why I wasn't able to see that early. I sent back, I'm about to file for divorce. He says, what you mean? You got married? I said, yes, I'm married. He says, doesn't mean I don't have a chance with you. Sorry for the typo. Does that mean I don't have a chance with you, even though you get a divorce? Then he says, sorry, my phone, something about his phone. Does that mean I don't have a chance with you? I wasn't responding back right away because I'm just processing like, what the hell's going on? To give a background on this guy has his own house. He is a nurse practitioner. We dated for a couple years. He drives an Audi, has his own practice. Like, y'all, I don't know why y'all think I'm desperate. I ain't never been desperate. I'm one of them ones. I done dated some. If I tell y'all my dating history, it's just that, like I said, the reason I got caught up with BB is the familial connection. Like, I really believed, like, and I think, like I said, my childhood wanted to heal him. Like, my childhood me wanted to heal him. But yeah, I ain't never had a hard time pulling anybody. Like, I don't know why the desperation thing is even a thing. Like, it had nothing to do with that. Anyways, he says, his loss, you're super dope. I say, I'm going to be honest, you're probably too late. I'm 2 months pregnant and I'm about to file for divorce because I caught my husband cheating with men. Things are complicated and I'm sure you want someone with a clean state. He says, I understand time waits for no one. Regardless of your situation, if you need me, I'm here. You're smart, charismatic. Most importantly, your heart is always in the right place. So I'm sure you'll get through this. What I meant to say was time waits for no one. So I understand. Although I wish I was the father because I know you'll make a great mother. Now, a lot of y'all have been saying, get rid of it, you know. And it's just for me, even though I'm within the time frame to get rid of it, I'm very early in my pregnancy. My conscience just won't let me do it. I am 37 years old, like at my big age, walking into a clinic to do that when I made a choice and I planned a pregnancy. It just doesn't feel right or fair. I know a lot of y'all don't agree. Y'all like, girl, if you don't get rid of it and go settle down with your damn near doctor and build a life. But I just, something in me can't do it. Now, I told him pretty much like, if being a stepfather is something that you're interested in, like I'm interested in like getting remarried and having more kids in maybe 2 years. He's 38, I'm 37, maybe 2 years, maybe even a year and a half, because I've known him for some years. But right now my focus, like I said, is just me healing and my child. So we'll see, y'all. The saga continues. When I tell you, like, my life's crazy. I don't know, like, if y'all know, like, if y'all have been figuring out, like, I've had a crazy, wild life. Anyways, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all.